Well, some South Africans have been benefiting from the 350 Rand social relief of distress grant. Many are calling for the grant to be made permanent, but some people also received the funds fraudulently. The Auditor-General is briefing the Portfolio Committee on the audit outcomes of the annual report of the department before the South African Social Security Agency today. eNCA's Ronald Masinda is following that story and joins us now for an update. And Ronald, the Auditor-General is talking about some of the inconsistencies and anomalies that they've detected in the disbursement of this 350 Rand social grant that has helped so many people.
Yes, indeed, Tulas. Good afternoon. Well, according to the Auditor-General, it has observed that during the period of October 2020 to March 2021, around 727,000 people potentially benefited from receiving the social relief distress grant, and that many of the people are potentially receiving other incomes. So according to them, SASSA could be losing around 254 million rand during this period. The Auditor-General also saying that it has flagged beneficiaries who were directors of companies of government contracts to be investigated. But what was also alarming during those conversations and the briefing was that the Auditor-General has also said that the IT systems of SASSA should be investigated. It found that developers had unlimited access to functional operations and payment scheduling, and that also equated to them also having access to the social relief distress grant database. The Auditor-General also saying that these things need to be investigated very soon, and also they also flagged an issue about the food parcels. I mean, who can forget that during those hard lockdowns when many families were in desperate need of food parcels, it has emerged that many people who have benefited from food parcels weren't supposed to benefit from these food parcels, and many of them had benefited multiple times. So the Auditor-General has also made recommendations saying that SASSA should strengthen its systems and also comply with new databases as prescribed by Home Affairs, also other government institutions. Let's take a listen to what Lawrence van Vuren had to say earlier.
Currently, there's investigations been done into the directors of certain companies that claimed it. That is done by the Fusion Center. Then there is already investigations been done by government employees that have claimed it, and then and that will most probably be recovered from them should they be found guilty. For the others, it all forms part of the material irregularity that we've identified. And the accounting authority will have to do an investigation and ultimately determine if there's anyone that should be held liable for any losses in that regard.
Shameful behavior there among some of those people. I mean, if you have people who are directors of companies claiming this 350 Rand, which is meant to assist people who are not receiving any grant, who actually qualify, it is really, really shameful. And I hope that what is being said by Mr. Lawrence there will come to fruition around investigations by the so-called Fusion Center, which is, this coordinated way of investigating corruption in government. In fact, speaking of that, Ronald, what are we hearing about what's inhibiting, what is stopping the holding to account of some of these people?
So the biggest issue is that investigations are very slow, and this is much to the frustration of the Auditor-General, saying that, unless these investigations are concluded fast, people must be held accountable, because that has been one of the main issues. And MPs also expressed those views very strongly, saying that people will continue to offend and to steal money unless they are held accountable very quickly, because the Auditor-General has said that for months this issue has been flagged, and yet very little people have been fined or found guilty of any wrongdoing. And that MPs also want answers. I mean, where are these amounts of money going to come from? Who's going to be held responsible? Because those amounts of money that the taxpayer pays need to be recovered. And we talk about this issue that the Auditor-General mentioned, saying that, you know, these investigations need to be made quickly. But the Auditor-General also saying that, you know, all the forces at play need to also play their role in also, you know, going to like the police, for example, if people know such information of any wrongdoing, as SASSA will continue to suffer should this continue. Let's take a further listen to what the Auditor-General had to say with regards to the investigations.
Again, we highlighted to the committees as a risk area, because we also have the view that these investigations should not take so long and should be dealt with swiftly, because if these investigations take so long, it ultimately results in a position where most probably it will not be successful due to various circumstances, witnesses no longer be there, employees leaving the organization. So that's why we highlight it, and that is why it's important that from an oversight perspective, you also address this with the executive authority and accounting officers so that they speed up those processes.
All right, Ronald, thank you for that update. That's eNCA's Ronald Masinda out in Cape Town there, updating us around the situation at the South African Social Security Agency and this 350 Rand Social Relief of Distress grant, which has been very helpful for many, many South Africans, but at the same time has been, I don't know, open to some abuse really by some people. And